I mean, Abraxas' lineup is so aggressive. Like, they don't have the late game potential that I think Alliance does, for example, but we'll see how it goes.
You think that Gyrocopter and Queen of Pain can beat out PL Lina? Or is it the supporting crew of Alliance that makes it that much stronger?
I think it's the supporting crew especially.
Yeah. I mean, Naga Siren late game is really tough.
The fight reset as the game goes on is so important.
Yeah.
Once the cooldown is so short and it's like a minute, right? And then you've got
10
Visage, who,
remaining.
if he gets any measure of farm, just deals so much damage. But they've
5
got...
seconds remaining.
I mean, Abraxas have a pretty interesting lineup. They create a lot of space with this Phantom Lancer. Like, if their strategy can get going where the 4 of them are able to just create space around the map, it could be huge. Like, this is a lineup where if it can get any sort of steam at all cap, the game could just be over. Alliance could just lose.
Alright, starting with some steam. Abraxas pretty much the norm for whenever you have a Tusk. They're going to do some sort of 5-man aggression. In fact, they're going to couple it with a smoke as well. So they're going to run into the enemy jungle, see if they can't get that snowball pick off. Loda may be their first target, who's running out real quick with boots first on this Gyrocopter.
This is a 4-man or a 5-man smoke too. This is so dangerous right now for Loda.
I can't believe Loda's actually being this far. Snowball's going to be able to grab a couple. They get on top of him. Light Strike Array does land, and that'll be the kill. First blood goes to Lina.
First blood.
Man, that's going to hurt, because he's going to probably get the bounty rune at the same time. Like, S4 is walking down, but I don't think they're going to contest
30
this.
seconds to
I guess they have the Earthshaker and the Gyrocopter. Like, if the Gyrocopter starts running right now, maybe they can contest this. But the Earthshaker might... Bulldog might actually have to swing over too if they want to grab this rune. And Speed of Life, he's almost going to have a full bottle as a result of that. Like, getting first blood on your mid-hero and the bounty rune impacts so much.
Yeah,
I can't stress this enough.
This is gonna be a tough fight. They're still gonna try and force it here. Minus on the front line. Here, Gyrocopter comes in for the side. Light Strike Array does land, but the blink in from S4. They're gonna be able to quickly surround the Lina and get that kill. Loki Chill trying to go for Minuts here. Needs a couple more right clicks, but body blocked by Ake to ensure he does live. Double kill, and the Lina is actually the one who picks up the bounty rune. Admiral Bulldog does grab the bounty at the bottom lane, so fair trade-off for Alliance. Even though they give away the first blood, still managed to make a good fight before the game actually starts.
Oh, things are kind of even now, because the Queen of Pain actually just got a double kill. So when it comes to net worth, she's actually ahead now as a result.
Yeah, and the Lina had to buy TPs, so she actually lost 100 of that gold that she started off with.
you don't.
That basically makes the bounty rune go down the drain. So, as you said, they're back on even grounds. And we'll see how that 1 versus 1 commences. Meanwhile, we're going to have an offlane Beastmaster played by Pone. Very dangerous lane for him, especially once Nuts gets the ensnare. And he's sort of disabled, coupled with Rob Barrage, are going to be pretty tough to deal with. But until that point in time, he's going to try and use those boars to really keep the support at bay.
It's going to be difficult for him to be in this lane, especially once Minuts gets a few levels, and okay, he's just going to pull and try to stabilize the creep wave. It's going to be real rough for him to be able to do much here. His Ascendancy is being contested right now as Bulldog somehow hit 3 CS right now. As the creep wave is actually pushing in his favor, and he's actually blocked the creep pull through, so they've had to just stack the lane, and so this is going to be a lot of free experience for him. He's about to hit level 3. He's got a decent measure of CS right now too.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those surprise maneuvers when you bulk at the medium camp, and they go for the pull expecting that one to be opened up, and then they can sometimes do the single pull. Fortunately, Abraxas made the right move. They stacked it before pulling that small camp, so they won't actually push the creep wave forward at all. They'll be able to keep the creep equilibrium to their favor, but still, as you said, Admiral Bulldog has been able to get a decent amount. I think that's really just the power, like Disruptor just doesn't have enough damage and the Earthshaker is tanky enough that when he's close to his tower, he's able to go ahead and tank a lot of harassment in the very beginning of his offlane in exchange for early CS. And this oftentimes means that he'll be able to pick up a much earlier soul ring. And that will then lead into him spamming out quite a bit. We'll see. Admiral Bulldog already does have the Sage's Mask, so most likely going to be going for the Tranquils and Soul Ring build.
Just constantly blocking off this bottom lane to try to hope that their creep wave pushes in, and they haven't had a pull, but Ascendancy is doing a really good job right now with the Phantom Lancer of keeping the lane static completely, and so this isn't exactly accomplishing as much as he wants, but I mean, Bulldog, I think, is just one of those offlaners that is incredibly smart. That said, he's one of those players who always listen. Like, even if his personality on stream, what you expect out of him is to be really clowny, when it comes to him as a player, he's one of those that is diligent. Like, he does his homework, he does his research, he figures out what he needs to do at all times. And this mid lane
off at the speed of line, he's trying to go for S4. He doesn't have any more mana though, and they will actually just leave My Nuts to be able to finish off the Lina. The Disruptor comes in, trying to help out as well, but doesn't really have the power to do so. Meanwhile, in the top lane, what happened there? Beastmaster managed to get a kill onto Ake, and he's actually still very healthy on the Beastmaster.
That is really surprising that happened. It must have just been the boar was able to slow out, and he was probably able to just axe once, but that's still surprising considering I thought he was going to struggle a lot more than Admiral Bulldog would in his offlane.
Yeah, completely agree. Admiral Bulldog is actually being blocked in here by Luffy, but he's got no support. So having the 1 versus 1, you're definitely going to lose that, and Chant Totem makes it a very easy fight. S4 actually jumping in, gets a nice double screen there, couldn't get off the Shadow Strike, but he will be rewarded with a regeneration rune to be able to help win his lane against the Lina a little bit more.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job right now of keeping up. Obviously, the ganks and the rotations are helping a lot too, and he's got 14 CS to back himself up, and this is a lane that's pretty difficult for S4 to stay in. The regen rune is really going to help out, and it shows like he always gets the runes that he needs more than anything. It's not even about the haste, it's just he manages to get the ones that he needs for the situations, and a regen rune against Alina couldn't ask for something better.
Obviously, RNG is a big factor, but do you think that S4 plays off of rune control as a mid player more than others?
Oh, for sure. A lot of players, what you have to ask yourself is, what am I willing to sacrifice? Do I go for the rune, or do I play off of just bottle crowing? A player like Sumail, for example, I feel in the mid game he'll play off the runes, but for the most part he's pretty comfortable with just spamming out and doing the bottle control and farming. The S4 feels like puts a premium on runes. Like, he makes sure that he's able to get
Not messing around with those boards one bit. Visage slowing him down to the Rocket Barrage can actually get the kill. They're worth a decent amount of both experience and gold. Oh no, he's still getting a lot in his offlane. They're not actually stacking up Ancients at all, which is not really that unexpected. While it used to be the premium way for Beastmaster to win in the offlane, it's really not needed anymore ever since the board change up.
Actually, this is pretty... Alliance spotted out the ward being placed by the Disruptor. So if they can actually get the D ward off, that's fairly significant. Like, they have a 2-way system where I think they actually saw that, and it looks like My Nuts is going to go for the stack. And they're doing a good job right now. This reminds me a lot of C-Deck, where C-Deck just used all of their resources available at all times. They're doing a good job of just constantly keeping up with stacks. Even if the pace of the game is really slowed down, there are things that you have to do, like stack up the jungle, stack up the Ancients. And you notice there's a huge wave over here in the large camp. You've got the Ancient stack to work with.
Admiral Bulldog, he's baiting this one out beautifully. Sonic Wave, quick double kill for S4. And now he moves on to Ascendancy, who's forced to doppelgang over to the side. Do they have the ensnare? Oh, he got the totem in time. No TP away for Ascendancy. He turns to go for Admiral Bulldog, but he knows his life is sacrificed. 2-6 now as Alliance pick up a big 3 kills in that bottom lane.
And that's so huge because S4 is just going to get massive off of that. He's already up to 4 kills in just 6 minutes into the game right now. Beautiful rotation by them because they know that where the ward is and they can just walk around that area, and it's harder for them to catch the rotate.
Yeah, that was really good game sense. Knowing that the support were going to try and go on Admiral Bulldog, it went back into the lane through that river area, and just so happened to set things up for from premium Sonic Wave. Our off-lane Beastmaster is about to pick up his level 6, so he can start thinking about rotating around if he wants to, now that he has that disable. Coupled with the Lina, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill if they ever get that stun.
Yeah, S4's playing a pretty dangerous game right now. He doesn't have mana. If he gets caught by the stun, it's going to be a guaranteed kill right now for this Lina, so he's playing around, trying not to get hit by anything. The Lina loses the DD, and he's actually just going to get hit by the end of that Dragon Slave, but the Luna's not doing too bad either. Like, despite the fact that she's 1 and 2, she still has a fair amount of CH, and My Nuts is going to come in here, but they've got to be careful because this Lina, she still has her ultimate and that It's unavailable to her.
S4 really could not push that forward. Just the Laguna Blade by itself could have been enough to finish him off. So he's going to wait for that 8-minute rune. Once again, Admiral Bulldog is going to rotate over to try and help secure that for him.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This illusion probably doesn't make too big of a difference, but Bulldog Trinity Boots plus the soaring available, so he's going to be feeling pretty comfortable. Abraxas do have some jungle camps going for them. They've got 2 of the camps are stacked twice. It's not an ideal situation, but it is going to allow the Tusk to finally take this mid lane for a little bit, because the Lina realizes there's no way that I'm going to kill this Queen of Pain, so I just have to get effective on the other side.
Right. Hopefully this will bolster the Tusk experience a bit. The 4-position Tusk, I'm not a terribly big fan of unless you really have a good game plan that allows the Tusk to be able to share in some sort of experience. So freeing up the lane is nice. I'm just wondering if it's going to be enough for him to be a factor. Just because of the fact that you really need that Walrus Punch up early, especially against certain controlling heroes like the Queen of Pain, who you so mobile, you need to be able to have that extra set of disables for you, as well as heroes that you want to burst down very quickly, such as the Gyrocopter.
I actually think Abraxas' support's made a little bit of a mistake because I think they went around the map a little bit too much, and being caught at that bottom side too has just slowed them down so much. Because if you notice that Ake's just been constantly pulling in, making sure that he gets levels without stealing any of Loda's. Like, Loda's level 8 right now, and Ake's level 5, meaning that he's pretty much just constantly pulled and not taking any of the lane XP, and Minut's at the same time. He's level 4, which is higher than any of the supports on Abraxas, or was actually, before they were able to get some levels in the mid lane. And he's managed to stack up quite a bit for his team too.
Right.
So they're gonna go
help out Loda right now. He's giving him the vision to be able to clear through this medium camp and leaving that top lane for the Naga-Siren to be able to farm up, but they may be caught by the smoke rotation now of Disruptor and the Lina. They are going to go up into the jungle here. Loda's going to spot him out just ahead of the Lina. No possible way to get a Light Strike Rain. That's going to be a smoke wasted.
Their offlaner, though, is still almost... I mean, he's incredibly farmed right now. He's still ahead of Bulldog, who's had quite a bit of a good time at bottom lane. He's got a kill, 21 CS. He's got treads, one part of his Necronomicon, which I assume that's Giant this one at the bottom. Fairly big rotation.
He blinked in aggressively, and they're not actually going to try and... Oh, nice glimpse. That's a beautiful one. Snowball will now catch S4 with the lance on top. S4 throws out the Sonic Wave, but he misses entirely. Luffy will just barely survive. And S4, very critical error there. Getting just way too aggressively on the Phantom Monster and not expecting those support rotations to be able to catch him out. Still, though, you got to give credit where credit's due. The Disruptor with a perfectly timed glimpse. That was pretty much, he threw it during the animation of Blink.
Yeah, he had to, because they didn't have any vision in that back area. So if he wasn't able to get off, it would have been S4 getting a scuff clean, but really good play by that Disruptor, like you said. Because the range on it wasn't even very long. Like, that was a level 2 glimpse.
Even if they did have vision, there's no way they catch the blink from Queen of Pain. 1300 blink is just too much distance.
Yeah, he actually just had to play the animation, which is pretty unreal. This top lane, though, they're going to go for the neck combination, but it's just going to be a little bit too late.
That ensnare being kept at only level 1. We've actually... I'm not sure if you saw the Reddit thread talking about mirror images being maxed out first. AY responded to the Reddit thread talking about how he wanted the mirror images to be able to last longer than just one AoE nuke. Felt like that was pretty important. Do you see the same kind of importance here in this game? Prioritizing over even Riptide?
Yeah, because the Riptide, the primary source of the damage, it just comes from the initial hit. I don't think it matters too much past that point. Like, being able to keep the illusions alive so they can kind of spread out and hit the Riptide as well and just help the Naga farm, I think is fairly significant. You definitely don't need the net. Like, the ensnare, a lot of people even just leave at level 1 nowadays.
Yeah. Rotation around Smoke, Beastmaster, and Tusk are looking for a pickoff in this middle lane where Ake is currently sitting. He's playing it very defensively for the time being. Meanwhile, S4 has moved into the enemy jungle, seeing if he can't find someone with the help of Admiral Bulldog, but both sides really no dice. Not finding any
Radiant's
openings
top tower
whatsoever.
is under attack.
You've got the medallion already completed on Ake, and he has a smoke too, so this does tell me that they want to go for the Roshan at some point. And Abraxas, like we talked about, this is a fairly aggressive lineup. The Phantom Lancer isn't the most aggressive hero that you could have picked here, but he's still got a decent amount of farm. Like, he's keeping up with the Gyrocopter net worth. And Alina's actually at the scoreboard now, despite her still being 1-2. She's actually going to get a free kill on Minuts right now, too.
Yeah, they're forced. Oh, okay, that was a bit of miscommunication there. Double ultimates definitely not needed for killing that Naga Siren, but I suppose both of them do have a relatively low cooldown.
Yeah, the Lina ulti I think is okay to use in that scenario, but I think the Beastmaster Aura was a little bit of an overcommitment. But they should be able to defend this mid tower at the same time, and I mean, Abraxas is getting a lot out of this map right now. Like, these small individual pickoffs are meaning quite a bit.
Oh, Bulldog, he's going to be able to hit the fish with the Light Strike Array still goes in, though, and that's actually going to stop a large amount of damage.
Oh, those
Now,
bird
Bulldog,
stuns.
they manage to stun up the Lina and will be able to burst him down. S4 gets out, Ascendant's doppelgangers away to the left-hand side, will be able to get the nuke on S4, which should be enough. No, he actually gets away ahead of the tower hit. Oh, never mind, actually, Disruptor Lightning Storm still manages to finish off. 2-for-2 exchange, but Alliance are in control of this Tier 1 tower and should be able to get it. In the meantime, Pone is doing something similar here in the top lane.
That's so much damage right now to that top tower. I don't even know if anybody rotates in time for that. Like, they're pinging it out, but there's not a whole lot they can do as a result. And this offlane Beastmaster has just paid off so well for them. The fact that he got a solo kill, he's almost got a first level Necronomicon out without needing any of the ancient stacks. Like, that's really absurd if you think about it, because most of the time they have to rely on the ancient stacks just to be okay.
Yep.
But with how aggressive he's been able to play, and the fact that he's able to get a tower out of it and the solo kill in the lane, really successful laning phase by him.
Yeah. It's not only the board change that made Beastmaster a lot more volatile again, right? It's also the Necronomicon change that inadvertently affects him. Molly Nuts, well, he's going to be caught out here. Light Strike Array, and the Magic Burst damage is easily enough. But going back to it, the Necronomicon, right, being buffed up so tremendously for level 1 makes this Beastmaster, like, just getting that Necrobook 1 pays off immediately, whereas before it was kind of seen as a build-up item. Like, once you got Necrobook 2, and especially Necrobook 3, the net worth investment was worth it, but that's a little bit slow for oftentimes that Beastmaster tempo. But with Necronomicon level 1 being a lot stronger than it was before, this just works. It has so much synergy now with this hero.
Oh yeah, getting the next 2 levels of it, the main reason is just because of the True Sight and the Mana Burn, but aside from that, the level 1 from it is incredibly powerful. And they actually just take another tower on the Beastmaster, who's going to have something like a 23-minute Necrobook 3 if things continue to hold at this pace.
Yeah. And now Ascendancy, oh, the Glyph actually goes out. Admiral Bulldog was pushing forward to try and get that denied, but he's just going to have to stay away for fear of giving yet another kill to Abraxas. Haste Rune being picked up by Loda. Ice Shards actually keeping them away, as well as Glimpse. Well-placed Kinetic Field blocking out S4 just a little bit. And Zenigata will maybe not escape. S4 comes forward, doesn't have the mana just yet. Nice silence. Zenigata is still going to be hit by that Fissure, and S4 jumps in to be able to finish him off. Round the back, Loda trying to chase down Ascendancy. Doppelganger to the right-hand side. Can he TP out? It's only just now coming up. Where's the disables? Do they have it in time? Oh, man, that ensnare catches them at just the last half second as the TP animation was about to finish. Same time, though, Lions are committing pretty heavily to that bottom lane. Pone is already set in a great position to be able to force out a TP, and Lina, who was, I believe, invisible at the time, able to take quick advantage of that one, blowing up Ake's Visage. Oh, the sleep. They're just ahead of it. Pone's going to be caught, though. Can't quite stay ahead of it, and Pone will be bursted down here by Loda. Tries to eat his way through the trees and buys himself a little bit of time, but in the end, the 5-man alliance still strikes.
That's still, I think, an okay trade for them. Like, if the Phantom Lancer was able to get out of that bottom lane, I actually think Abraxas would have been really satisfied with that trade. With the amount of farm that they were able to get on that mid lane. He took that power down to about half. The Beastmaster continued to get farm. He got the last hit on the Visage. That was so unlucky. Like, the Phantom Lancer was like 0.001 seconds away from being able to get out. And that top lane, too, is just being farmed this entire time by this Tusk.
Admiral Bulldog is actually just about to pick up his Blink Dagger, so He is still keeping, like, he's obviously not keeping instead for the Beastmaster, who's so incredibly overfarmed for an offlaner, but Emerald still makes up a very respectable 18-minute Blink Dagger after the Soul Ring range. And this will give Alliance a lot more opportunities with their mana. I think a lot of the time they just didn't have catching potential. Like even that last play, they got the Naga Siren Sleep to be used just for the Beastmaster, which was great. But now with the Blink Dagger on Earthshaker, they have an opportunity to get a lot more.
I think they should actually go for Roshan at some point, really soon. Like they've hit a lot of different item timings where they just finished the Orchid on Arcade. You've got the Medallion completed. Luda's about to finish an SNY. And you've got a Blink Dagger on Bulldog. Like, you have to start getting objectives with the item timings that you've just hit. There's no reason to continue to wait and farm, right? Because your next item is going to take a little bit too long. So I think you either go for a smoke in a tower, or you try to take the Roshan.
Can you talk to me a little bit, perhaps, of the difference in item builds for the PL? Like, every single time you go for the same general ideas, but it feels like this PL, he rushed the Diffusal a little bit faster than some others.
I think it's just because he wanted to get in fighting shape.
Okay.
And the Diffusal is a lot with just the amount of mana burn that you can do to the team. It synergizes pretty well with the Necro Burn too, but I think it's just a decent fighting build. He decided to go straight for the Ring of Aquila into the Diffusal Blade, and he's going to get the Yasha. The only difference, I guess, is that he didn't go the drums.
Right.
Boots of travel.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is that, one, he doesn't have that farm item, and two, he doesn't have the tankiness that drums offers you. So he's actually incredibly squishy, particularly against the burst damage of the Queen of Pain, which is, for me, very much a cause of concern.
Alright, so the Queen of Pain, again, like we talked about, she's got the Orchid. Oh, and
he blinked perhaps just a bit too early, but he still stays ahead of the kinetic field, so Admiral Bulldog is fine.
They're doing a really good job of pressuring her at the towers, though. Abraxas?
Yes.
Like, the fact that they were able to get a tier 2 so cleanly like that, despite the fact that there's a Blink Dagger on the enemy team and that Orchid, they're just hitting really good timings right now where there's not a whole lot that they can do to respond to it. And
nice save from MyNuts.
oh,
He simultaneously saves Ake and makes sure that the Lina will get picked off right in front of the Roshan pit. So as you said, Alliance are going to take this opportunity to do an early Roshan. Abraxas now have to make the decision. Do they go for the split push or do they go for the contest? Looks like with the Beastmaster, well, I thought he was pushing forward to go for that tier 2. But he starts rotating to try and contest Roche. Decides against it, he's going to go back to mid. So they're just going to try and take 2 different tier 2s in exchange for Roche. But, oh, they're actually going to double down. I really am surprised by the Beastmaster's reluctancy to pop the Necronomicon and take that tier 2 mid.
it just feels like he's reluctant to pop it in general. Like, I think in the initial push, when him and the Lina, remember when they picked up the message, he actually had the cooldown up, and he just wasn't able to use it. I think he's just waiting for opportunities for the kills in the push. But I don't think he should have to hesitate so much to...
Ooh, S4 blinking forward aggressively like that, but Pone and the PL are actually just going to back out. Eula Scepter, bottom lane. This is going to be, yeah, very easy kill on MyNuts.
Every time he shows himself like that, the Lina is always going to be able to get the solo kill. He has to be a little bit more careful, because it's the third time or so that I think he's going to get off by it. So he has to be worried about this at this point. And the speed of life, I mean, he's almost got a Bloodstone completed with the Eula Scepter in 1 minute. It's a pretty fat amount of farm, and...
Oh, Pone! He came forward, but immediately gets punished. He thought he was going to be able to get a quick kill on S4, but Admiral Bulldog was babysitting his mid at that top lane.
And that's a frustrating death too, because you don't expect the Earthshaker to be sitting behind the Queen of Pain like that. Especially when Alina just shows himself at bottom. It's only the Beastmaster can get the kill there, so that's just good game sense by Admiral Bulldog. So I don't mind that the Beastmaster decided to go for that kill either.
Bloodstone can be finished up now by the Lina. Last neutral camp will get that. Tusk actually has a mech as well as the Arcane Boots. They don't have an Medallion hero, right? So he'll probably go Medallion, Solar Crest, and then back for the Guardian Greaves.
On who?
The Tusk.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be a pretty decent build. I think getting a Blink Dagger would be pretty big too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. A Glimmer Cape would be huge too. being able to get a Glimmer Cape before getting the GG Greaves. I guess the Guardian Greaves are okay here, because you do need to beef up your team a little bit, but the Glimmer Cape helps so much. For example, when Lina overextends after she uses the Yule, there's very little she can do defensively aside from the pocket deny.
Right. See, it looks like My Nuts is going for a similar build here. No mech just yet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But it will be here shortly. At the time, Abraxas is currently just splitting up and trying to farm rather efficiently, even going so as far as having Lina take over the enemy jungle. The smoke up from Alliance is actually going to be spotted out here by Tusk. S4 blinks the wrong direction. That pesky nighttime vision causing him some issues. He's actually going to blink forward now and put the Orchid onto Lina while still trying to continue to go for the toss. The Fissure does not block him out. Still, S4 is going to continue to go for the toss. Tries to TP out, but the ensnare is there to stop it. Still, it is a smoke for just a 4-position Tusk who already kind of had his items.
Well, this Beastmaster going for the split top is actually taking a lot of damage right now, and he's trying to split it up a little bit so Loda doesn't just get free farm for no reason. And running them away, I think, is a good idea. Like, just giving up 200 gold is not that. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Loda can just kill them. He doesn't really care about the burn from the DPS either, and I think this is a good move by the Beastmaster.
Good pickoff on Zenigata. Alliance continuing this kind of 3 or 4 man train and finding a kill here and there. Again, it's just a support, but this time around, it's right in front of the tier 2 tower, which they are going to try and pressure down. Loda at the bottom lane, though. Maybe picked off here. He's got his BKB. Going to turn and fight up against Lina. Still, though, both Beastmaster and Lina with no disables available on the side of Alliance. Maybe not. Bulldogs might still find Pony. Dust right in the trees. We'll be able to lock him down with the extra help with the ultimate. Pone probably regret not just running back with the Lina.
I think what they were hoping for is that Loda eventually still decides to stay. And he's like, Loda thinks, okay, I'm going to be fine. But Bulldog, I mean, his rotations this entire game, when he sits behind cores, have worked out every single time. And it's just good communication between the cores, but Ake is at the fully completed Solar Crest. It looks like he's probably going to go for the Aghanim Scepter after this. The Naga's almost got, he actually does have the mech.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Pretty good timing from both teams right now is Alliance, their lead isn't that big. It's only 4k for both sides on both experience and net worth right now.
Smoke up. Find Loda. He does not have his BKB. They could conceivably kill him twice here. Admiral Bulldog, though, sitting on the side. He's ready to go with the next plan, but a nice Ice Shards actually spots him out. Loda still managed to get away, and now the turnaround here. They glimpse back Loda, but his Aegis expires, and he'll actually heal up to full. Throws in the ultimate, and will be able to lock down some of these heroes. Scepter from the Lina, dodging none of that damage. Down with the Echo Slam from Admiral Bulldog. Locks down 2, couldn't get off the Fissure, and that means Lina gets off the ultimate, but it still doesn't matter. Alliance just start running over these heroes from Abraxas, and it's really only Ascendancy who manages to get out. The Disruptor managed to get away with just this sliver of HP, but Alliance just won a fight inside of the enemy jungle, well set up to start taking objectives.
That was a really good move by Abraxas. They were going to go for the Aegis timing where it fades, they get a kill, hopefully on Loda or somebody else, and then they can set up for taking some towers down, but Alliance just outmaneuvered them in that fight. Loda able to just put a little bit of distance between him and the rest of the heroes, and just good follow-up left and right by Alliance. My Nuts with a really good sleep, setting up that Echo Slam, and that was just dirty by Bulldog.
Yeah, really well played by him. I just want to point, like, a really good read by Luffy, throwing out that Ice Shards in the beginning, but he could only do so much. Like, he clipped Admiral Bulldog, make sure that he wouldn't be able to blink and Echo Slam while they were trying to go on Loda the first time around, but Admiral Bulldog was very patient there and still found his opening eventually.
Yeah, I mean, Abraxas is a team that personally I'm not too familiar with, but they're actually playing pretty solid Dota. Like, they're having the ideas and the principles behind what they're doing make complete sense to me. Like, going for the smoke as the Aegis expires, that's something we, for example, LGD do quite often, just to try to regain some map control, where a team will feel really confident during the time that they have it, but Alliance are playing off of that pretty well at the same time. They've got a lot of different items now in their cores, and it's the point of the game where they can just start to snowball, because the next Aegis is about to come up, and this might be where they just finally start to take 2 towers down.
The Manta choice of the Phantom Lancer over the like SNY that we've seen previously. Do you agree with this split push?
Yeah.
Other than the fighting on him?
I think so. Oh, and actually,
Ascendancy,
he's got Usual, but he doesn't have the doppelganger up, and he's gonna get picked off.
Fair kill. And this will just increase that gap between the Gyrocopter, Queen of Pain, and the rest of the cores of Abraxas even further. 28 minutes in, it's 10 to 20. Take a look at that net worth chart. Alliance have dipped down rather dramatically in the last 5 minutes, almost taking a 10,000 gold lead and about 7,000 experience. Zenigata runs right into S4, does manage to get off the glimpse, but Bulldog will make sure the Disruptor stays down.
Yeah, just really good play right now over by Bulldog. 1 and 14. He's more than done his job. Even if the Beastmaster played by Pone was able to get more in the laning phase, it's just been all Bulldog right now, and everybody from Alliance following up really well, and they're just splitting up the map farming. They're going to eventually go back, and I think they just play around the Aegis timing now.
Well, Roshan is just respawns, so we'll see if they're able to find that open. Lina is just 1,000 gold short from being able to have that Aghanim's upgrade to the Laguna Blade. Really starts spinning that Gyrocopter. He's only sitting on 1,700 HP and will stay around that marker as Lotus choosing to go for the butterfly this game rather than a earlier Scotty or maybe even faster Satanic.
The one issue right now, I really like the way that Abraxas is played, but the one issue that I have...
This is not a simple off pickoff. It never is.
Single time.
Alliance just... They stay grouped up so much.
Pone?
He's not getting away. Then it snares.
Oh, they're so sick for a second.
Yeah, if he managed to actually blink like downwards into the trees, I think he did the double click.
Yeah,
which is why he, you know. But if he had managed to instead click the blink over to the trees, he might have gotten out.
I think the problem with Abraxas' lineup right now is that they haven't had the best ways to initiate because the Beastmaster, there was a 20, he had a 19-minute Necronomicon, but a 30-minute Blink Dagger, right? So you've never really been able to start a fight. They've usually just been counter-initiated on, and the speed of life. The problem is when he goes for the Yule Scepter on a target, if they pop a BKB, for example, he hasn't had any sort of follow-up, and he just kind of dies, because that's his defensive mechanism at the same time.
Admiral Bulldog, what is his item choice here at this voicemail? Because he could be going Yule Scepter, he could be trying to go for really light, like Scythe of Ice or something. But there's also the Lotus Orbs. I feel like the Lotus Orb has a lot of value against the Beastmaster specifically.
Yeah, the Lotus Orb probably isn't too bad. They might actually catch Bulldog.
They still get the fourth staff, and the snowball will hit him. They bring him back into the silence and should be able to finish off there. Leon is bursted down. They actually Bloodstone suicide that one. S4 running for all these heroes. The BKB fades, making this a lot. Gonna be able to clean him up. At least Luffy goes down. They're gonna be able to try and go for Ascendancy as well. Doppelganger on one more second, but S4 there to reclaim that kill. Goes on a godlike spree. Only the Beastmaster alive for Abraxas. Trying to go for that slow push now, but Alliance have taken very clear control of this game with the Aegis that they still have. They're probably going to be able to clean up the rest of these tier 2s and may even start poking uphill.
And that's what we saw again. The Lina, she has so much farm, but she's not able to utilize any of it. You notice she uses the Yule Scepter on Bulldog, who just 4 staffs away, and then she can't continue to chase. And once she uses that Yule Scepter, she's pretty much all in committed. And Ake alone, just with the bats and his solar crest, just eats her.
Yeah, now that he's got the Aghanim's incoming, it's going to be all the better. Tier 2 already down before Alliance can even push in. Beastmaster denies the middle tower. That top one, though, should be... well, I thought it was going to be food for Alliance. It may still be S4 there, but Alliance are actually backing up pretty quickly here. Is this them backing up to smoke? It seems like it. I can't imagine they halt their aggression. They have the Aegis. They just want a really good fight. I mean, maybe they wait on the ultimates. How important do you think the ultimate is of Queen Pan?
I think it's worth waiting for. Yeah. It's 30 seconds. There's no reason not to. You've got your Aghanims coming on your Visage as well. I think you're halting for that more than anything. And yeah, you do see the Blink Dagger on the Tusk instead of going for the fully completed Guardian Greaves.
Yeah.
The problem is with a hero like Tusk especially, and when you're being aggressed so often, you have to decide one way or another. Because Guardian Greaves, the recipe for it is actually a fairly significant investment. So you kind of just have to decide at that point. And I think going for the Blink Dagger, especially when you have troubles opening up on fights, was a better idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's just come a little bit too late.
Yeah, for me, honestly, I never like going Guardian Greaves first. I just do not feel there's enough value because the recipe is so expensive and what you get out of it, I don't think is nearly as good. I really feel like you should be going some other item before you complete the Guardian Greaves. And I do really like the Blink Dagger here. If not for anything, then just to save the Phantom Lens if he ever gets orchided up. Now, top lane looks like they're going to be able to find ascendancy here. No doppelganger away this time. Alliance quickly close in on that kill, and we'll bounce right back to the middle lane, it looks like, to continue that push. Lina is desperately trying to get that creep wave going, though. He wants to be able to stall up Alliance as best as possible, because the Phantom Lancer does not have a buyback.
Also trying to wait out the Aegis. They don't want to get in any engagements that they can. Yeah. You notice that the entire time the Phantom Lancer was getting caught atop, nobody from Abraxas really broke a sweat. They're like, we're not going to TP for that. There's no way we're going to look for that fight right now. We're just going to wait things out for as long as we possibly can, but Alliance, here's where the aggression comes in. They've got the triple bats from Ake, who actually just summoned them up with that Aghanim Scepter.
They should be able to dish out a fair amount of tier 3 damage. Already jumping in on the Beastmaster as well. Nearly pops that ultimate. Can they kill Bone? He managed to get the mech save. He'll get out. Back to the fountain he goes. Shadow Strike unable to finish him off. Tier 3 tower still, though, completely at the mercy of Alliance, as Abraxas are still waiting on their Phantom Lancer to come back. Now, though, the Beastmaster is halfway healed. Let's see if they can actually take this fight. Well, yeah, Fly Cannon's down for another 10 seconds. Lola preemptively popping that BKB in order to finish off the melee racks. And will now start going for the retreat. Looks like they'll actually get away here. The Glimpse is going to be able to bring back Loda. And he will turn. Pops the ultimate. Tries to deal what damage he can. Song of Siren. Resetting things entirely. And Loda will actually be able to get out. Looks like all of Alliance will get away. Completely scot-free. Even Admiral Bulldog? Yep, just ahead of the Snowball. Perhaps, yeah, Aki is going to go down here. Looks like, even with really good familiar drops, he should be going down. But still, they got the melee racks. They didn't have to give up any of their cores. Very successful push from Alliance.
Oh yeah, just chasing or trading one BKB timer for a set of racks at this point in the game when he still has 8 seconds left to go is perfectly fine. If that was a 10 for 9, maybe you would hesitate for a second, but you probably still go for that in that situation. Because it doesn't make too big of a difference. Like, you have control of the map right now. The Phantom Lancer doesn't have enough farm to really contest too hard. The last game we saw, when the Phantom Lancer played by FN, he was never really that far behind when it came to net worth, right? Like, he was, no matter what the circumstances were, he was almost all within 3,000 net worth of the gyrocopter, but that's not what we're seeing this game at all.
Right. We were talking about it earlier. I'm not sure I don't remember what we settled on, but is this Lincoln's for Earthshaker? Be able to put it on the gyrocopter, because pushing uphill is always such a hazard.
Lotus Orb is a really good idea too when playing against Alina.
Yeah. And
the Beastmaster Roar as well, right? I actually think the Lotus Orb, I don't see it often still, because it's just not an item a lot of people are too familiar with yet. But, I mean, it also dispels negative buffs, which is pretty significant.
Loda, most likely to finish up his Satanic as next item, I presume. Have that secondary life.
You also just need flat HP when dealing with the Lina.
That's true. Meanwhile, Abraxas still trying to keep up that split push. As a Beastmaster, when you already have Blink Dagger, Necronomicon, that feels like kind of your core items. What are some of the luxury items that you're looking at from here?
An Assault Cuirass, if you could ever afford that in a million years. If you're really cheap, going for Vlad's isn't terrible here. It would help out your Phantom Lancer a little bit. But there's no real one item that you're going to get, I feel, as the Beast at this point. That's really going to change stuff.
Do you not see enough value in the Aghanim Scepter? Seems like most people don't anymore.
No. I think the Aghanim Scepter actually is... I remember when it used to be rushed all the time.
Yeah.
I just felt like it's just such an underwhelming item, especially for a Beastmaster.
Well, he does have 2,400 gold, so a higher tier item like an Assault Cuirass may be within his reach, but that's kind of up to Alliance and whether or not they try and end this game. the next few minutes. They're still doing a really good job of split pushing. It seems like Luffy is always on the mark with that one. And in fact, it looks like he's going to go for the Solar Crest as his next item.
Alright, so Alliance right now, what do you think? Just wait for the next Roshan? You don't really have to go for anything, right?
Yeah, especially when you're not actually going Satanic on Gyrocopter. He's going for the MPD instead.
Probably in anticipation for either a Solar Crest or preempting a Butterfly.
Right. Feels like it's to be the Solar Crest because I'm looking at Ascendancy. He's actually going BKB next item, which I don't really blame him too much. I feel like there's so much pressure on you that Abraxas have to kind of go for that that team fight winning item, BKB. That's relatively cheap. I mean, certainly cheaper than some of the late game items that you would go for, like Scotty.
The Roshan's actually up right now. I think Alliance are just going to take a quick peek, see that it's up, and then just go for it.
Abraxas, if they did know about it, do you think they should try and contest Roche? Or still continue to play the time?
I almost think they should. Like, I think the Phantom Lancer is a little bit too far behind for them to play for time. I don't know how in the world you would take a Roche fight is the problem. Because if Minot sees him coming, then
yeah, exactly.
He just pops asleep. I think dire side, especially with Naga, it's impossible. Like,
Naga Siren is the queen of contesting as well as defending Roshan.
I think if it was like any other support, they might think about a fight.
Yeah.
But Naga, no.
Well, still, they push the tower all the way, creep wave all the way into the tier 3 tower in the top lane, continuing to keep Alliance on their toes, and looks like already Pone's going to do something similar at the bottom lane. But I doubt they'll be able to stall for the full 5 minutes.
No, they definitely can't. Pone just has to take the risk right now and just continue to push out this bottom lane and just create space so that if they lose one set of racks by some freak accident, which is probably just a really bad team fight, then the rest of the lanes are at least pushed in. If the game isn't over by that point. Like if by some reason Abraxas lose a set of racks but they're all still alive, then they don't lose 2 sets of racks, I guess. But this phase, it might not even matter because the Alliance might feel so comfortable about the lead that they have, they might just march down mid and then skip into that top lane.
Zenigata picked off, but fortunately he's got a very short death time for how late in the game it is. Another 15 seconds, he'll be back up. He'll be ready to go for this next team fight. Loda, knowing that at 4 versus 5, is immediately going to try and pressure that tier 3 tower. He's got Butterfly, MKB, as well as the Aegis. Shiva is now complete on S4 as well. Yule Scepter for Yule Lotus Orb coming in handy, and Lina is going to be chased away by S4. They turn to finish off the tier 3 tower with the KB active.
It's so hard to contest this right now, and with that tower box, it's so difficult. Abraxas, they're gonna, it almost looks like they just kind of have to, this is what I was thinking about. You just give up racks, all of you are still alive, but they can't just go for the bottom push. But at the same time, you just lost the racks for nothing. You have to get something out of this.
Well, that's where the glimpse comes in, trying to stop S4, pops a BKB after the glimpse completes because Alliance are actually going to try and take this fit on the right side. Emerald Bulldog is being dealt with by Luffy. Meanwhile, Luna turns and tries to pop Loda. Will be going in here soon, and that's just the Aegis. Ascendancy turned back away, but S4 is on the spot there, and that's it. Abraxas knowing that it's over, I guess. No buybacks whatsoever. They're not going to try and fight Alliance a secondary time. They call it game number 1.
That's such an awkward position because there's no opening in the fight, and you're watching your racks get taken, but you realize if you go fight that, in the type of position that you're in and how Alliance are set up, you're just going to lose. But then you go for the fight after. It's just a lose-lose situation right there.